You hit record before I thought we were going to hit record.
Well, what the hell? Yeah, I'd fix that. Yeah.
I'd fix it too, but
Yeah.
that'd require a haircut.
Well, there you have it.
You want to move the mic, or do you want me to move the mic?
Oh, my God. I almost forgot. Okay, that should be better. Everybody should be able to hear us clearly now.
You make it so obvious that you don't watch YouTube videos. You know why?
Why is that?
Because everyone just heard you like very faintly, and they had the volume at the same level, and then you just pretty much yelled in their ear.
Sorry, folks.
And if you've ever watched a YouTube video where that happens, you know how frustrating that is.
Well, I can honestly say, other than our videos, I haven't watched any YouTube videos, but I do find ours rather entertaining.
Yeah, that's really special.
Yes.
All right, so speaking of entertainment, here's what we were going to talk about today.
What's that?
Chill the fuck out.
Yo, watch your language.
Chill. You're supposed to tell me it's a kid's show.
It's a kid's show.
There we go.
After all, those kids are buying Matchbox cars like crazy.
Yeah. All right, so here's what I want to do. I wanted to hear some of the craziest stories from your decades of time in the dealership. So just run it back. I mean, I know at the family dinner table you've shared all sorts of things over the years, but maybe I'll even hear something new for myself.
And if you don't, I'll make something up. Okay, I can tell you that in my time in the car business, I've seen a lot of strange things. I can tell you that right here in the Atlantic City area, when I ran a Nissan dealership, we had a customer say he wanted to test drive a car, so the salesperson and the customer went out in the car. The customer was driving. The customer said, "You don't mind if I stop at the 7-Eleven for a minute? I need to pick something up." Well, it turned out what he picked up was the cash out of the cash register. He robbed the place and he used our car as his getaway car. Didn't quite work out the way he'd hoped.
That is so dumb.
Well, you know.
Was the salesperson complicit, or?
Well, no, the salesperson had no idea. The salesperson was waiting in the car.
What year was this?
It was in the late 70s, early 80s.
So it was relatively early into your career.
Yeah, and then you see stuff like that and you just figure, well, anything's normal.
All right, so one of your cars was involved in a 7-Eleven robbery. What happened?
Well, obviously they caught the guy, and he did some time. And when he got out, we wouldn't let him demo any more cars. Go figure. And then I had another case at that very same dealership where one of our customers was kind enough and gracious enough to kidnap one of our female sales associates, and didn't bring her back for 7 or 8 hours. Scared the crap out of everybody, including the sales associate. I mean, it's just terrible. So that when people wonder why dealerships take a photocopy of somebody's driver's license, it's for 2 reasons. One, to check to make sure it's a valid driver's license and the picture of the person on the driver's license actually matches the person handing you the driver's license. And God forbid anything happens, like they're involved in an accident or a robbery at the local 7-Eleven where they kidnap your sales associate, you have a picture ID that you can share with the police. So that's the main reasons why dealerships take a photocopy of
What
the
happened?
driver's.
Did you guys call the police?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully she was okay, but I guess he figured this was a good way to get a date. And
That's not funny.
And it didn't quite work out the way he had hoped, and it was just terrible. Just a terrible situation.
Not fun. That's
sorry.
Gross. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a situation at the mini store when the new Mini Roadster came out, and from the Mini Roadster because, well, Dad got one, and you drove it one summer.
Yeah.
Great car, a lot of fun. Well, so the Roadster first came out, and we had an older customer come in. He wanted to test drive one, and it had just rained a little bit that morning, and all the test drives for the mini store are on twisty, windy roads, so we can show people just how well the car handles. And one of the last words the salesperson remembered saying to the customer was, "You might want to slow down here," and well, they did when the guy hit the tree, and the roadster flipped over. The car was totaled. I heard that there was an accident not far from the store involving a Mini, so I went running over there. And there's nothing as disconcerting as finding your salesperson laying on the ground on a stretcher on a backboard with a neck brace on. Thankfully, having survived a head-on collision with a tree, because, well, the customer just he wasn't really paying attention. He just wanted to see how fast he could go. And these are just some of the situations that happen. Thankfully the customer was okay. I shouldn't say the customer. Thankfully the gentleman who drove the car, who we never heard from ever again,
Yeah.
he was okay. The salesperson was okay and only missed a few days of work.
Wow.
But it was really a scary scene to come upon. But thankfully, the car did everything it was supposed to do in order to protect the people that were in it, between the roll bars that were built in the back and the way that the top took a lot of the damage and protected their heads when it rolled. It was just a wonderful thing to see, but one you never really want to go through.
Didn't you have a story, and I don't really remember it.
Okay, well then maybe this is one I can make up.
It was one from when you worked in Arizona.
Yeah.
I thought someone took a car. Was it also for a robbery? Or
Well, no. That was at the Jaguar store, where a guy came in with his trade,
yeah.
which was a Highline trade, and wanted to test drive a Jaguar, and he said to the salesman, "I'd really like to show it to my wife. Can I take it by myself?" And the salesperson made two mistakes. One, he said sure, and two, he didn't bother to get a copy of a driver's license.
When was this?
This was back in the early 2000s.
Wow.
Wow. And it turned out that the trade was, well, a stolen car, and the Jaguar that the guy took to show his wife was the next stolen car, because I don't know if he had a wife or not, but he never came back. And they, we had nothing. The Jaguar salesperson had nothing to share with the police as far as a photo ID was concerned. Every dealership is run differently. There's certain procedures that most dealerships have. Some sales managers or general managers take those procedures a little more to heart than others. I would never allow anyone to go for a test drive without a copy of the driver's license, and when people would complain, I would explain why we did it.
Yeah.
And if they wanted the copy back, that was no problem. When they got back from the test drive, I'd be more than happy to give it to them. But I just needed something that I could share with the police in case anything untoward happened. And, it happened occasionally. I also remember when I was in Scottsdale, there was a Mercedes-Benz dealership right across the street from the big Penske complex. And everybody did basically the same loop for a test drive. And I remember I was appraising a customer's car, and all of a sudden in front of me I just see like this big cloud of dust and dirt from the desert. And I got closer, and I saw three people staggering out of this Mercedes-Benz, and the salesperson and his two older clients. And apparently the gentleman who was driving, he just didn't notice that, I don't know, the street didn't continue, that he had to make a hard left, and he ended up in a drainage ditch.
Holy.
Yeah. So you get to see all kinds of experiences when you're in the car business. Some that are fun and interesting. I mean, I've been involved in a lot of different activities at the mini store. We used to run a rally every year for our customers. We helped sponsor a minor league baseball team in York, Pennsylvania, and we would caravan 50, 60 minis from our dealership up to the stadium and parade through the stadium, and then treat our customers to a day at the ballpark. And people say to me, well, that seems like so much fun. And I said, yeah, I can't you remember the last time the Toyota Corolla Club did something exciting like this? So we would do things like that. And I know you were part of the caravan, and we led the caravan one year.
Yeah.
And we were driving a John Cooper Works convertible. And it was early May. I think we did it on May 5th, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And it was Cinco de Mini. And we just had a great time. It was a fun trip. Things like that are fun to do.
One of the things I remember from that day was I threw out a first pitch, but so did about 50 other people, because it's minor league baseball. So.
Yeah.
So it's just funny to remember that.
Yes, you did. You were invited to throw out a first pitch. We would enter the stadium. We did this for like 3 or 4 years in a row, and we would enter the stadium through center field, and we would drive around the warning track and all around the ballpark and parade our minis through the ballpark. Our customers loved it. It was great fun for not only the customers but for the staff. The dealership staff, because we all got to hang around with our customers, and many customers range in age from like 18 to 85.
Yeah.
And it's like so interesting to see how all these people of all these different backgrounds, how well they all get together and can hang out together because they have one shared interest, and that is their minis that they're so passionate about. And it was almost like it wasn't like organizing a caravan. It was more like being a community organizer and just helping to bring people together. It was just a wonderful time, something that I always looked forward to every year.
So one other question I have on kind of the story front.
Yeah.
You mentioned like a few accidents, which are really scary.
Yeah.
Police requiring activities like robberies and stuff like that.
Yeah, nothing major. Yeah.
No, it doesn't sound like anything too bad. I mean, a robbery is a robbery, but...
Yeah.
I want to kind of get a sense for, did you have any customer experiences without, like, I don't know, putting anyone in a bad light or anything like that like really stand out? Like, to this day, you still remember some of these experiences that you had with customers as being, like, so crazy? Like, I still remember one night that you came home from work. I think you were working at the Acura dealership, and it was like a family came in, and I think they were looking at an MDX, and the kids wouldn't get out of the car. And I just remember you coming home that night at, like, I don't know, 9 or 10 p.m. and just, like, complaining because it's like you couldn't get the kids out of the car. Like,
well, there are times at a dealership when people come in and they bring their children with them, young children, and I don't know, maybe they just think it's, free time for the kids, and they can just let the kids roam like wild animals, and they don't even attempt to have any control over the children. And they can bang on the cars, and they can get inside the interiors, and they can honk the horns. And it's like, you look at these people and you think, what the hell is wrong with you? Get your kids under control. And I remember one time I said to the kid, I said, you stop it right now. And the mother looked at me. I said, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. This is a business. We're trying to run a business here, okay? I don't need your kid honking the horn in the showroom, and you won't do anything about it. But we used to, we would do, I remember, and you came up one year for it, at the Acura store in North Scottsdale, at Christmas time. We did a Toys for Tot drive. But we did something a little different, and that was we invited everybody to come in, and we set up tables, and we had wrapping paper, and we invited the staff and customers to bring their children and to wrap gifts that could be given out in the Toys for Tots boxes that we had together in the dealership. I mean, we would always try to do things that would bring our customers and our staff's families together, because I wanted the customers to know that we were just like them, in the sense that we're human, we had families, we were raising children, just like they were. We weren't just all con men trying to steal and pillage from you. We were legitimate business people that I don't know, had families just like you did, and we tried to show that. One of the other things we did, which was great, at the Acura stores, once a month we would actually do a barbecue for our staff. And what it turned out to be was a barbecue for the staff for the entire complex, because there were only 12 dealerships or 11 dealerships on the complex, and everybody would come over, including customers, and we would cook for them hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken. We'd have a whole setup for them. We could only do it from October through May. In the dead of summer, it was just too damn hot to be out there barbecuing. But these are things that we did, and quite surprisingly, one year we were invited to the best places to work luncheon.
Really?
In Phoenix, and the general manager couldn't attend, and so she sent me and our parts manager, and they're going through the list of small businesses, and if you finished in the top third, somebody had to get up there and accept the award. And so they're going through the whole thing, and allegedly we're getting an award of some kind. We were selected, so they get to. We're 4, and they haven't called us yet. And they get to 3, and they do 3, and they haven't called us yet. And they get to 2, and they haven't called us yet. And we were selected as the number 1 small business to work in.
Really?
In Phoenix. I'll never forget that. And I had no idea that we were going to win, and I had to say something. So I remember I kept it brief, unlike these videos. And I got up there and I said, mark this date down in history. We have just said that an automobile dealership is the best place to work. Go figure. How could that possibly be? And it was. We finished in the top 3 or 4 years in a row. So yeah.
I never knew that.
Well, maybe you should watch tomorrow's video. You'll find something else out.
Yeah, I'll probably watch.
Okay, good.
Maybe I'll even participate.
Well, either that or you could just hang out and be another pretty face.
Oh, you're very kind.
Yes, I am.
Well, I appreciate you sharing some stories. I'm sure you've got more, and as they come to mind, we'll have to do more, more conversations about them in the future. Because I imagine when you first started in the business, you saw all sorts of stuff that definitely wouldn't fly nowadays. But let's not tack it on here. We're already 20 minutes in. We'll bring it up in a future conversation.
Okay, so I think that was your polite way of saying we're done now, folks. Ray's talked way too much.
That was my outro.
Okay, there you have it.
See ya.
See you guys tomorrow.